What's up, guys? It's your girl Antonia. We out here on Amped Up Live. I got a great guest in the building. He's a producer, a director, screenwriter, everything in a book. We got Tariq Simmons in the building. What's good?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you.
Hi. Wow. First off, you're really like my old classmate.
I know.
Been
like we was chilling in Oak Hall. We was out there chilling.
Oh my goodness.
In the Penn State streets.
Oh my goodness. You said the hall. You said the hall. Wow.
Slept parties and all.
For real. I was telling my classmates, I was like, we really was partying. I didn't even know he was in school. First off, I didn't even know he was in film school. I just knew that he was one of the best dancers there, getting it in. You know what I'm saying? But it was awesome. Great experience. Great time to, cross paths. Here we are.
Yes. And just where we come, where we started, where we are now.
Yes.
10 years later after graduating.
Which is crazy. So I told them, like, now I'm really trying to dabble into the industry, the film industry. And, I checked out to see, who's around that I can network with and so forth. But I don't really have anyone, So ironically, I guess one time, I think I saw that you posted you're working on a project. It was BMF, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait, no way. At first off, I didn't know you were working in film. First off, I didn't know Penn State had film on the camera.
Right.
I'm just like, this is just all new to me. So, I just think like, I just want to know, how did this all come about? Like, how did you transition from Penn State to where you are today?
So, wow, it was because reason why I chose Penn State was because they did have a film program.
Right.
And after graduating, I was trying to just really get into the industry. And learning in school is good about it, but they don't teach you how to go into the workforce.
Right.
So I moved back home to New York and trying to figure things out. And you would think that New York, where everything films at, television, films, all that, you think it would be an easy transition, but it wasn't the best. So I ended up going into the news as a cameraman, a freelance cameraman for about 2 years.
Wow.
And I was doing that freelance, and it wasn't full time, but then I was like, this is not what I wanted to do. I went to school for film. Right. I don't want to be in the news. I want to be, I do creative filmmaking. Right. So I said, let me try a different market. So it was between LA or Atlanta. Right. And at that time, I heard Atlanta's like the Hollywood of the South, and it was growing exponentially. So I said, rather than move to LA where everyone is there, let me try this new market in Atlanta. And honestly, it was the best decision I've made in my life.
Wow.
So yeah, I was able to book like 2 film jobs back home in New York, but I wasn't able to book them full time.
Right.
So I was only day playing. So I came here. It was a struggle, but I was persistent, and I was able to start working full time by the end of 2016. Wow. And I moved to here in 2015.
Wow.
July.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you start? Like, what was your gateway into?
It was well, like most industries, especially in entertainment, it's about who you know, right, rather than what you know. So it was a connection through my brother, a friend of his who was working in the industry. She was working in reality TV side. So I was able to work as a PA, which means a production assistant, on one of the shows that she was working on at the time, and just made connections from there, and just you network across. Right. Rather than try to network higher, you network across, because you never know, other PAs could continue to work, and if you do a great job and have a great work ethic, they'll think of you. I'm like, hey, I'm working on this project, come along. You just continue just to network across on different various projects.
Right. What actually made you want to go into film?
So I was growing up, I was the type of kid that always stayed in the house and watched television, right?
Right.
I was watching TV shows, cartoons, movies, whatever. My dad used to have to force me to go outside and play with my friends.
Right.
And, you know, growing up, back when DVDs first came out, they had behind the scenes features.
Yes.
And how to make the movie. So that was very intriguing. So watching behind the scenes and how they, you know, quote unquote, make movie magic, you know, really sparked my interest in terms of filmmaking.
Right.
So in high school, the NAACP has this program called ACTSO, ACTSO. So they offered, is for the arts. So they had, the year that I did it was our senior year in high school, and they had a film program. So they had it for actors, for directors. But for some reason that year, they didn't have the directing program. So I wasn't able to do it. But I did the acting side.
Right.
So, which also helps me, you know, so I learned how to act,
yeah,
which also helps me as a filmmaker.
Right.
So that continued to spark my interest. And I was like, you know what? This is something I want to do for the rest of my life.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so inspiring. It really is, because like I feel like I'm so behind and so late on it. But like I really didn't get into it until 2020, wanting to do it. I just filmed my own little short film. So I was just like, okay, let's just do it. But I didn't understand, like I always was intrigued, but I didn't understand like the creativity like behind it even more. Like the thought process is just like out of this world, where, you know, other worker or other directors and just producers just come together and just.
See, the thing is, don't think that you're behind though. Even though you started in 2020, you're not behind at all, because you know Morgan Freeman.
Right.
He retired from an entire career before he started acting.
Wow.
So he was already in retirement when he started acting. He was like, yeah, so don't think of it like, you know what I mean, that you're far behind it. So
yeah.
And then one thing I've noticed too that I learned, especially within this industry, is like you meet a lot of people that fell into the industry, that work into the industry. Like this wasn't their number one plan.
Okay.
Like, yeah, they, you know, because I met a friend of mine who was a microbiologist professor.
Yeah. No, I went to school to be a neurosurgeon. And then
exactly.
You know, and I said, I'm never going back to school. Then I was like, whoa, I want to go back to school because I want to learn this. This is like my passion. I was shooting music videos and, you know, doing this and that and podcasts and filming, but I'm really into filming. Like it's just so, it's just mind boggling just seeing you here right now. And then just on this part of the fence, it's just like, wow, I just want to pick your brain and just ask you a million questions. And we are.
And you know and there we are. And the thing is also too, what helps you with that, right? So say, you know, you're gonna be a filmmaker, say you write. Right. You went for neuroscientist. You have that background if you want to do a story about that. Right. So you have the knowledge of things like that and who you can connect to help you gain the knowledge for that story. So, you know, look at it like that. You know, everything happens for a reason, you know.
So how do you feel being a creator in this day and age, like in this time, creating? How do you feel that your message is very or much so influential to have a platform like this? You know, like how important is that to you to get it out there with your creativity?
So one thing, yeah. So as an artist, any type of artist, you're your own biggest critic, right? But your art has to be seen by other people, right? Because you never know what they're going through and how your art can help them within their life and things like that. So it's definitely important, especially with today's day and age where social media is like the biggest platform, and you know you can become successful by making YouTube videos and film on YouTube, and you know, whereas in 15, 20 years ago we didn't have that platform to make film. Right. You know, so, you know, and especially if you learn how to do the craft, you can definitely do it by yourself. So it's very important to get that out there to everyone. And because your art, you know, like they say, a picture says 1,000 words, and we're in a business of motion pictures. So it can say a lot of things.
For sure. See, maybe I didn't ask my question the right way. So, you know, in times like today, like, current events and issues.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even your film, and I do want to get into that, you know, your film evolution, you just dropped this, you know, and maybe that's where we should go into for sure. Your film evolution definitely has an empowering message, you know, for people that feel that they're not here with a purpose, right? You know, can you explain a little bit to me about your film?
Yes. So my film Evolution pretty much is about an alien sent to Earth to help humanity evolve that runs into major obstacles.
Right.
And how I came about with that was, it's just epiphany came for me a couple years ago. And it was just like, you know, what if we as human beings, we came from aliens? And that one little question snowballed to this whole film process that, I'm developing that as, because this film is a proof of concept of the feature that I wrote.
That's for real?
Yeah, it's a franchise that I'm developing.
Whoa. So you are obviously aware of the ancient Kemetic, and
yes,
that is awesome that you put that together, because maybe like 8 years ago I started to learn about that, but then I just stopped hearing about it. Maybe because the people around me, it just changed, of course, but like that's my fault. So when I saw that, I just was mind boggled. I was like, whoa, like this is just, I like that, because this is what we need to put out there to,
yes,
let people know who they are, where they're from.
You're right.
Like that,
And going on that aspect of it, because for me personally, I love watching like sci-fi and fantasy stuff.
Yes.
And the thing is that we don't see us represented in these films. And especially being part of the diaspora, sometimes, well, most of the time you don't know exactly where you come from.
Right.
So, especially during 2020, I did just a lot of research, like I did my ancestry, my DNA ancestry, right. And to put content that were represented in a different light outside of the norm of Black filmmaking, that shows African mythology fused in with science fiction is different. Yeah, and it needs to be shown. And we don't have a lot of sci-fi filmmakers that are Black.
Right.
And what was good was the Black Panther movie did help us in terms of showing that on a global scale that it can be done, because the stigma was, Black films can't sell internationally. Right. And so let alone a Black sci-fi film made almost $2 billion internationally. Woo! So it's time to have more content like that right. showcase just African culture and right. and especially in a positive light.
Yeah, because you show too that these things like religion, just these things here is what broke us away to understand what humanity really truly is, in a way.
Yes.
That's too strange how I'm saying that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's where I just started thinking about how, these are some of the things that keep us from, I guess, evolving to where we could be.
I just love how you did it. Like you made the actor, he's a known guy. He starts out with the having the threesome. First off, I like the coloring, like the red ambiance. Like that's the tone. I was like, oh, that was giving me Belly vibes. Okay.
Yes, shout out to my director photographer. Yes.
That was awesome. That was awesome. So I love how you brought that in. And then you get into the actor. You obviously showed by him saying that, he doesn't want to get caught having, doing whatever on balcony again, getting into that, you're letting them know that this is just an everyday person. This is just somebody that, a sinister, you would call them,
Yes.
And somebody from their, from, I guess, an alien, you would say, somebody not from here comes and let him know, look, you need to wake up. And I love that message. I thought it was dope that oh my goodness, I'm going crazy. The special effects, you even have the cartoon in there. I was like, oh my goodness.
I loved it because like I was telling you, I wrote it as a feature originally, right? Well, First of all, I wrote it back in school in Penn State. Actually, I wrote it.
Get out of here!
Yes,
you were ahead of your time. Ahead of your time.
Yeah, the idea came from me senior year.
So is this your first official project film that you put
No,
out?
actually it wasn't. So I did a project back in Penn State senior year, and I got into the film festival at the school.
Wow.
So it was a sci-fi project. It was written by a fellow classmate of ours in the film program. So this was my third or fourth one, but one that I released, and I went into the festival circuit with this film and things like that. So, but yeah, I developed the idea then, and it was for film class, and it was I wrote a 25-page script. Dang. And when I pitched the idea, it's like, how are you gonna do this big idea in the 25-page script? Well, I wrote that, and then I was like, you're right, it's a feature idea. Matter of fact, it's a trilogy.
Ooh.
So I wrote it as
Matrix on them. This is Matrix. This is like Matrix. Well, actually, the real creator of the Matrix was a Black woman, but at least
Sophia Stewart.
Woo! Great. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I wrote it as a feature, and when I was working in the industry out here, I like I said, network of course, and I got the idea from another production assistant that I was working with at Tyler Perry Studios, and she said she did like a table read, and just she got a whole bunch of people together to do a table read, and table reads where you have cast members read the parts within the script.
Okay.
So I got it was about 20 people showed up, and I got great criticism for that this is for the feature. And that hearing the feedback, and I was like, you know what, let me try to do a proof of concept, and that's where the short came from. I said, let me shoot this as a short, as a proof of concept to put this idea out there rather than just it still be in script form. So that's where I like it again. Mm-hmm.
When did you film this?
I filmed it 2018, 2019.
Wow.
So the reason why I waited to release it now, because it was in the festival circuit, and film festivals, they don't want you to have it in public while in this festival circuit. So it ended the festival run. So now I'm putting it out there for the public so it can hopefully be well received.
Oh, for sure. So how many festivals have you had submit to?
So I submitted to a good amount. I got into about 3-4. Wow. And 2020 did not help because I got into a festival in Cannes, France, the Pan-African. In Cannes, France, I booked my ticket and was ready to go. Dang. But I had to cancel it. But it's still screened out there, so that was good.
That's awesome.
I got into a festival in Charlotte, and I got into a festival in Brazil, but they had to cancel that. This is all during 2020 when these festivals.
Yeah, so, 2020 definitely caused a shift in everyone's life.
It did, in everyone's life. For the whether it was good or bad, it affected everyone. But but yeah, definitely. But yeah, the idea is a trilogy, and I have with the animation included into it. I want to do an animation spinoff as well.
That's gonna be sick. Yeah. You're so creative, you really are. I would have never thought. All I remember from you was Sean Paul. You were listening to The Dream. I remember the stat of the what's that we were dancing in. I just remember party. Yes.
The slept parties, right?
I was slept. I don't even know. I was just gone I was gone my whole. That was just a different side of me. I'm back. Revived.
That was different side of everyone. That was 18, 19.
But you took advantage of that. You were still there because you knew before in high school what your passion was, and that's really important. That's really so. What advice do you have for students coming up, or anyone that's inspiring or aspiring to be, a filmmaker?
So what our advice that I have is you put what you want into it in terms of learning wise, because you will not learn everything in school,
right?
But there are a lot of other things you can do out here. There are different books for screenwriting, you know, I mean, there's different books for directing and things like that. There's master classes you can take from professionals that are out there, you know. Just continue, always continue to learn. Don't feel like you're to the point where you stop learning.
Okay.
One, technology changes every year. Right. The filmmaking process is different from what it was 50 years ago to now, you know. Right. So just always continue to learn, and also just network across. Right. You know.
Sure. So now, being that I'm in Florida and I'm in two major cities like Orlando and Miami. So, for instance, I don't really have a film community here. I would love to establish that. But like, what do you recommend to someone like myself after, you know, or even throughout schooling, how I can network or get myself out there?
So have you been to ABFF in Miami, the film festival? No. So that's American Black Film Festival in Miami. And when I went there twice, actually, 2008 and 2019. Sorry, 2018 and 2019. Okay. And I learned that there is a Florida State Film Commission out there. So yeah, there's definitely filmmakers.
Now, what is that supposed to do? Like, is that supposed to?
And so for you as an independent filmmaker, if you have a project, you can reach out to the film commission, and they can possibly fund your project. You get a grant. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, because I remember getting the car while I was at the festival. And, you know, the main thing is you have to be a resident of Florida. Wow. And then so it's definitely there is a community out there. Actually, Issa Rae is filming her current project out there.
Get out. Wow.
Yeah. So they filmed in Miami. It was Ballers was filmed in Miami.
Hey.
Yeah, they filmed in Florida.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's nice to me. Jeez.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So definitely, if you're not ready to leave Florida yet, there is a community in Florida for filmmaking, and then they actually professionally shoot up down there as well.
I like that. So you're in Atlanta right now, right?
Yes.
What's your life like as a filmmaker there? Like, yeah, everyday, day-to-day life.
Right now it's mainly working, which is a blessing, and I love it. Right now,
and that money.
Yes, right now I'm getting my first experience as in a writer's room.
Whoa! So you're working for a production company?
Yes.
Wow, I'm thinking like you're working like just
independently.
Yeah, or I'm just thinking like I don't know how it works. So
gotcha. So
that's your career, and you want to make sure you're, you know. So you're working for another production company, because I see, don't you have your own production company too, right? Or is that?
Yes, I do have my own production company. It's called Diaspora Dreams Productions Ltd. Yeah. Right. And I found, you know, earlier this year, I got the name for it, the LLC for it. So.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, you're doing big things. I'm gonna have to submit my application.
hey, exactly. Come on, awesome. Come through. Yes.
Wow. So tell me your just everyday life so you're working for a company, and
yes, I'm working for STARZ.
Whoa. You just made it seem like, oh yes, so
right now my everyday life is working for STARZ as a script coordinator.
Wow, a script coordinator?
Yes.
So what is that?
So
I'm like literally just
you're good.
in my filming like experience. So I'm like really.
Yeah, no. So on television shows, they have, if you ever notice in television shows, in the credits, the directors and the writers are different for every episode, the majority of the time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so there are a few shows where the director's the same and the writer's the same.
Okay.
But typically they have a writer's room, and they gather whatever amount of writers they have for the show, and each writer writes an episode or they write an episode together, combined, things like that. So as a script coordinator, I'm in the writer's room, and when the writers write their episodes, they'll give me the script, and I'll edit the script and put in proper format and make sure it's uniform for the script for that, of that show, and send it out to the studio and production.
Whoa. So you were like the translator, basically.
Yeah, I'm like the liaison from the writer's room to the rest of production.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, Tariq.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
How does your family feel about this life of yours?
They love it because, like you said, I set my goals from when I was in high school, and I was fortunate and blessed to be able to work in the industry that I got my degree in, what I've always wanted to do. So literally, it's definitely a dream come true, and I'm super blessed and grateful for it. So
that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. So you're working for STARZ. You're obviously your right hand now you're doing production for BMF, right? So tell me about that experience. I see that's on air. That's the executive producers.
Amazing.
Randy Huggins. Yeah. How did you get that?
So I actually for season 1, I was Randy's assistant.
Right.
And I met Randy on a show on the BET called The Quad, season 2. Wow. And I met Randy when he was a writer on that show. Okay. And I connected with Randy from there, and just kept a relationship and with him throughout the years. And when they say opportunity is when preparation meets, so I at the time I was talking to him, and he said he wanted to bring me on to his next project, and I told him I was ready to work with him again.
That's awesome. So your work ethic obviously speaks volumes. You are definitely, killing it. Your name definitely ringing bells. That's beautiful. And you're just so calm and humble, so chill.
Yeah. It's still surreal because, like, I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were just saying stuff, and I'm like, because especially coming from where I'm come from as New York, you just want to grind and do what you have to do, and nonstop. And the thing is, like, you don't sit back I had to sit back and look outside myself to see, like, this is what you've accomplished. Like, just basking in the just listen, look at it. I was like, wow. So I'm just super grateful, and it was just a blessing. Especially working on BMF has been the highlight of my career so far.
Wow.
It's definitely
so what are some goals you look forward to, or some things you want to set up within the next 5 years?
Definitely be a writer director professionally. Mm-hmm. I'm a writer director independently. I want to be able to write and direct.
So how do you become professionally?
If you want to write, you write. If you want to direct, you direct and put your content out there. And working in the writer's room, hopefully, the goal is to eventually become a staff writer. So that's why I see myself in the next 5 years being a staff writer.
It's going to happen. Yeah. Dang, I see it in your face. I just want to give you a hug. Oh my goodness. I'll be in Atlanta in January.
So, yeah? Okay, we gotta link up.
Of course. I go over there like every year. I try to around my birthday make blessing bags and I give it out to people that are less fortunate.
Nice.
Nonprofit. So I'll be back over there this year. So I'm
cool. When's your birthday?
It's January 7th.
Oh, Lord, that's dope. Yeah. I'm August 7th, so 7.
Oh, 7. Okay, exactly. We're definitely in tune.
Yes.
Wow, you definitely inspired me so much. It's challenging that I don't have the network or the community here, but So like, what do you recommend? What am I supposed to do? Like, say I want to start a project today. Who do I talk to? And I don't know anyone, you know, how does that work? Do you still recommend contacting the, who did you say? The Florida?
Yes. So I would say, I think it's the Florida Commission of Film.
Right.
I had to find out exactly what the name was. But yeah, I would say definitely do that if you get your idea and your treatment and things like that for it.
So they'll actually give me a crew?
You will have to find a crew.
Okay.
What I did to find crew was Mandy.com, MANDY.com. Okay. That's a way of finding crews.
Okay.
Local to your area, you can go by, your zip code and you can find crews that way. Okay. Also, when you're ready for the casting process, Actors Access. Okay. Is what they use, how actors submit their auditions, because mainly today's day, even before the pandemic, it's been tape auditions. Like, right. You'll tape yourself and then send it in. Yeah. So that's so in order for finding cast and things like that. But but I would say Mandy.com as well as, and then they that Florida Commission site, they might have a database as well. Okay. So
wow. Do you ever see yourself acting? Being in front of the camera?
Nope.
Why not?
Nope. I've learned to act. And I've even in Penn State, I took acting classes. Yeah. In Altoona, I took acting classes.
Wow.
They had a drama class, and I took that. And I want to continue to take acting classes because I think, especially to be a filmmaker, it's also conducive to know what you're asking for your actor. Ooh. And also to collaborate, because you don't want to dictate to them what they have to do. You want to be able to discuss with them and let them, trust each other that they do what you need to do, and you're doing what you need to do. It's more of a collaborative filmmaking process.
Okay. I like that.
And actors appreciate that if you're a director or writer, that you've taken acting classes to understand their craft and what they're doing to make these characters come to life.
I like that. That's definitely a lot of respect. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So yeah, I would recommend you take if you can as well, take an acting class just to get that. I know it's scary, but the thing is it also too, if you take an acting class, you can network with the actors in your class for your project.
Oh, you are smart. I'm gonna have to play this over and over every day in class. Guys, this is it. Yeah. We're graduating.
Because the thing is, they'll respect you more for that you're doing the groundwork with them.
Right.
And then you'll let them know, hey, I'm a filmmaker and I wanted to learn the craft more just to help my filmmaking process. They'll respect you way more, and they'll want to collaborate with you.
Very true. You are just dropping gems. You're dropping gems. I appreciate you. I really do. This was like more than I, anticipated. I was like, oh.
I appreciate you inviting me on. So.
Yeah, you're definitely my first pick. I'm going to support you forever. This is it. And
I'm gonna support you as well. You know what I mean? That's the things we have to support each other, especially in this industry and as a people. So.
You already know. Drinks on you when I pull up. I'm just joking.
Hey, get it. Let's go.
So what's a message you can leave behind, for people that are viewing today that are, never met you before, want to, tune in?
I would say don't give up on your dreams, because your dreams can become a reality no matter what. And if you think about all the people that are successful today, you don't know what their story was to get there. It wasn't a walk in the park. Right. So if you have dreams, still find ways to follow those dreams.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't for me taking a leap of faith to move here in Atlanta, I would still be in New York working in the news.
Oh, and some people get it twisted. They'll be like, "Oh, I should stay in New York, or I should go to," and those are two major cities. But
exactly.
You gotta follow, how you
exactly.
feel.
You have to. You have to.
That's official. You're definitely the man. I am grateful for your time. How can we find you on social media or your work?
On social media, on Facebook, I am Tariq Simmons, TARIQ SIMMONS. On Instagram, I am the director Tariq, THEDIRECTOR, Tariq TARIQ.
Awesome.
And also my film evolution is on YouTube, and it's on my Facebook page and on my IG in the profile.
And it'll be here in the interview as well, guys. So make sure you guys comment, like, share his work, do all that, support him. He's definitely the now, the future, the everything. Because you obviously,
so much.
Even the past, you thought about the future. Like that was 10 years ago, 10 years ago. And you're just watched that film, guys. 13 minutes, worth it. I watched it 5 times today, just like, whoa. Like, yeah, you're the man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.